and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. I am Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. And speaking of travel, I am joining you from our satellite studio in the Washington, D.C. area. So it's a pleasure to be here. And of course, with me, as always, is the star of our show, DIANN BOEHM, who is also traveling. Let's hear where she is. Hi, welcome, DIANN.
Hi, it's great to see you.
Great to see you too. Where are you joining us from today?
I am in a small town in Texas called Van Alstyne, and it's real close to the border. I'm about an hour away between Texas and Oklahoma, if that gives you a feeling of where I'm at.
Yes, it does. And what is it that's taking you out on the road?
So, as you know, and for our listeners, it is the pre-launch to my young adult book. I'm going to hold it here. Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And I'm very excited. Drumright Historical Society Museum is hosting it, and they are a part of our beautiful Smithsonian in DC.
It's fantastic. I'm so proud of you, DIANN, and this journey that you're on. So you are going to be signing books, is that correct?
That is correct. And speaking to the people who come from Drumright and remind them what a special town they come from. So I'm excited about that.
Wow, that's terrific. And by the way, there's a friend who is watching and saying hello, and it's Jane Northcote. Hello, darling. Joining from Italy, I would assume. She's still there. We had a great show with her. That was
we did. Hey, Jane, how are you? We are ready for some of that ravioli.
And she writes very exciting. Yes, that is for sure. So I think it would be great, DIANN, because you're such a world traveler. You've been to so many countries, and you've done more than traveling. You've actually lived in so many places, experienced so many wonderful cultures, and you brought people from all around the world onto this platform. So I appreciate that. So can you share with us some of the places that you've lived, and then we'll just start talking about some of the experiences that you've had there.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, for me, being a Texas girl from a small town of Deer Park, just going to Virginia was a major change, much less when we really did go overseas, which was to the Philippines. So I lived in Manila for 2.5 years, and that was phenomenal. And besides just having the opportunity to be with the Filipino people and discover how beautiful they are in their customs, but also to be there because my dad was there during World War II. And also I was one of the first Americans allowed to be on stage in what they had as equal to Broadway. So I appeared in Pippin and Annie at their National Theater, which was an extreme honor.
Wow. Congratulations, DIANN. That's amazing.
Thanks.
It really is. And we've got a comment from Jane that came up earlier, so let me just share that with you. She's cooking chicken and roast potatoes. Jane, we're dying over here.
She's going to kill us again.
Oh, my gosh. I was eating a granola bar again today. It's like I need Jane's cooking. And DIANN, by the way, I saw that you have a YouTube video of you baking the chocolates yesterday. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. That was great.
Oh, thanks. It was really fun to do. It was my very first one, so I hope you enjoyed it. They were, I think they were the best cookies that I ever made. They were so incredibly fudgy. So when you see me on there, it was like that bite. That was actually my very first bite to taste it. And I was like, oh my God, they really are good.
Can we expect to see more videos of you baking? I think we can, because we've got something coming up for our viewers and listeners, but I'm saying on your YouTube channel.
Yes, actually I experimented. So I'm going to be, when I get back home, I'm going to share this recipe that I came up with on my own and let people have it for the holidays.
So exciting. So exciting. And also, Diane, as you know, we have a cooking show that is coming up. And this is really exciting because you and Ricky McKenna and Simon McDonald and I are going to be sort of like the view of cooking. So it's our show is called The United Kitchens. And this is coming up
Oh, I
next
love
month.
it.
Yes, so it's really exciting. And we'll have people as guests, like Jane would be a great guest to have come on and she could be in her kitchen cooking something. So I think we're getting into that holiday fall mode.
Oh, that'll be so totally awesome. So totally awesome.
That will definitely be fun. So, as you know, our show is fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure, and these topics are near and dear to both of us. So, a question I have for you, as you are already traveling and I'm traveling, what does one wear to a book signing?
Well, that's a great question. And a lot of people would say always make sure you dress according to the people that you're around. And I like to honor that to a certain extent. But I always dress extremely professional, as if I was about to give a major speech. So I always wear a suit and just feel very, very special and deliver a message. So
That's
there you
fantastic.
go. Yeah.
And if you can just share, we have some new people joining us. Just if you'd hold up your book again as you're traveling, and just share with our audience the why you wrote this book and what you would like people to take away from it.
Sure. So here's my book. Let me put it here. And it's called Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And this is actually my grandma. And I took a snippet of her life as a young girl and wanted to share her journey. Now, it's historical fiction. And so I took snippets, but I really studied the history that was going on in that time period, along with various cities and towns, and built a story around Grandma's adventure. And her adventure, without giving too much away, was she was born in 1904, and women weren't expected to go to college, but there were a lot of women who wanted to go out into the business world. And that was huge. Like, what? You're supposed to get married, you know? So she had to go through a lot of hoops, but finally she got her parents' support and she made it and was one of the first women. Well, she was, I think, for sure the first woman in her small town to receive a degree. So I'm very proud of her, and I'm hoping it inspires people to go after their journey, you know, their dreams. It might take a long time, but just believe in yourself and know you can do it, and just keep going, and just if you fall down, pick up and keep going again, and you will have your dream come true.
Well, congratulations again, Diane. I'm so happy for you and proud of you. And we are running the banner across the bottom, but where can folks find your book, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More?
You may find it on Amazon as well as other local bookstores. They're happy to order it for you. So, yay! I'm very proud of
Yay!
it.
You
And
should
if
be.
I
You
can
should
throw
be.
in there, it made Amazon's hot new list for the month. So I'm very proud of that.
You should be proud of that. Woohoo! And I was really blessed to be able to receive an advanced copy and write a testimonial, which we'll see. We're going to run your ad a little bit later in the show, but it's very exciting. And and Diane, for people who are out there, the holidays are coming up. There's a lot of memories being made. We're coming out of a pandemic, and there's a lot of stories out there people like to share. But when they go to actually put pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, sometimes they get a block. So what kind of advice can you give to people who are interested in writing a book and getting their dream to come true, as you mentioned?
Sure. Just start writing. Even if you don't, you when you want to write something, you know what the purpose is because it's already in your head. I want to write. I want to get this out. So just start writing down. It doesn't mean that's going to be the beginning or the end of the story. Just start writing the messages that come to you, and your voice will happen. And before you know it, it's all going to come about. Just think of it, if you ever played with mud pies, and if you haven't, I encourage you to, because feeling the earth all wet is very, very good for everyone to feel. And so it's like clay. You just have this lump of clay, all these stories that you've written. And then as you start going back over what you wrote, messages are going to come to you of how to organize it. And then your clay takes shape. And before you know it, you have a book. And if you are writing your book and you are like, oh, I have to put it down because I'm just not going to do it. Yes, you are. Just say, yes, you are. There are many times that I stopped and I just took a break. And I mean, I even took a break from my research because I just had so much going in my head. But when I took a break and took a deep breath and just went out into the world and did other things, pretty soon I was re-energized and I went back to work, and you find your voice again. So I encourage everyone that really has this need to get their story out, that happens. You just take a break and then you come back. But Dr. JACALYN, you probably could, more about this, but I do believe this approach that someone told me, that every single day we should stop and we should just breathe, just listen to our breath and inhale for almost 5 minutes and do nothing else but just breathe. And this new energy comes about. What do you think about that, Dr. JACALYN?
I'm all about that. I practice a lot of yoga. I'm a certified yoga and meditation teacher. So I think breathing is really key. So I'm all for that. And I'm actually coming out with my second book too. So it just goes to show you that, you are an award-winning author and animator, illustrator. You're just really incredible. So I'm following very far behind in your footsteps, and just grateful to be able to learn from you.
You're so sweet to say that. I'm sorry. I think you hit Amazon's major award for selling books. So you're very kind. But
well, a little shout out to the connection that you made for me with Red O'Loughlin, who is my book coach, and I thank you for making that connection, because he's a terrific guy. If anybody is looking for a book coach, you can reach out and we'll give you his information. It's Red O'Loughlin.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, he's amazing. And, actually, we should have him on the show because he knows so much about health and what to do in those books he's written. We haven't done that yet.
He sure does.
Do that.
Yes, that's a great idea.
Yeah. For those listening, his books are amazing, and it's all about the chemistry and health. And I've learned more by reading his book about understanding my own health. And there's he really talks about how your body is unique. And so not everybody has to do it the same exact way. And that makes total sense, because I discovered the other day that I had an allergy, and I didn't ever think I had any allergies, but apparently I do. So they had to do a different type of medication for me. So the uniqueness of our bodies and our cells, and he approaches everything from having a healthy cell. And his books are things that you read, and you can't just sit down and read it. You have to absorb it and just take little bites. So I think it'd be really great to have him on.
I agree. We'll definitely do that. And I have some great news. Our guest is actually backstage. So we're going to take a break and then welcome her. I'll have you do the introduction, and then we'll bring her on. How does that sound?
That sounds great. I might butcher her first name. So I'm never good with Greek names. So
I'm never good with names either, but that's okay. So we're going to start off. We're going to have 2 clips, and the first one is called the Earth Shot Prize. And I want to thank Helena Shard and Ian Pelham Turner over in the UK, royal commentators for the British royal family, for sharing this with us. And I think it's great. We talk a lot about sustainability and fashion. And so let's just take a look at this, and then we'll be back shortly on USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And welcome everyone on Business Talk Radio. We'll be right back.
All this is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, and also welcome to our listeners on Business Talk Radio. You are watching or listening to Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure. Diane and I are both on the road as we are broadcasting today, which is very exciting. And we've got an amazing guest who's joining from Greece. Diane, why don't you give a little bit of background about her before we bring her out?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Konstantina is an amazing woman. She is a businesswoman in so many ways. She's also an author, so we'll have to let her explain her book. It's a self journey, incredible. But today she's going to talk about Greece, her home country. And I had the privilege of traveling with her throughout Greece and saw places that I never dreamed I would ever see in the interior part of their country. And food, oh my goodness, and the history. So I can't wait to get started with her.
Let's bring her on. Welcome.
Oh.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, and hi, Diane. I mean, I have not seen you for such a long time. It's such a pleasure, always.
Oh, it's fantastic to see you. Diane has the most wonderful friends and guests. I think Diane is frozen for a moment. So, Konstantina, tell us a little bit about where you're joining us from today.
Dr. JACALYN.
Sorry, because she unfroze and she started talking. What did you say, Diane? No, it's a bit confusing.
I said I'm so glad you get to meet Dr. JACALYN and be on our show.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And for it's such a pleasure, really. I'm right now I'm in Greece. Tomorrow I fly to Lebanon, so it was just a little bit before I leave. That's why it was such a good opportunity for me to be in a place with better internet. And it's really a pleasure to connect with people who are like-minded, and we can share ideas of how not only to travel, because recently, I mean, for the past few decades, many people have the opportunity and the luxury to travel, but how to travel better, which is something that is discussed a lot recently, especially after the pandemic, now that we have given the opportunity to take a breath. And how are we going to return? What kind of travelers do we aspire to be? And what impact do we aspire to bring to the world that we visit? So this is, I think, an exciting new era of change and of improvement.
Fantastic. Where are you joining from in Greece?
I am in Athens. Yes, I'm Athenian, I think, to the bone. But of course, I love Greece in general. And I would say that I'm rather a citizen of the world. Yes, a large part of me is Greek, but I think that I have, as if I am a puzzle and I have pieces of myself from other parts of the world so that they make me feel whole. But large part, of course, comes from Athens.
I like that.
I do too. That sounds so romantic that you're in Athens. Like, oh, just imagine being there. Now, I'd love to know, Diann, how did you and Konstantina actually meet and start traveling together through Greece? That sounds really fabulous. Okay, there's.
We met through a mutual friend, Lorraine Taylor, who. And she and Lorraine, maybe you can share how you and Lorraine came up with this great idea to mesh how to improve your business, your brand, and be an adventurer in traveling.
My passion is to help myself, of course, and others, friends who join me, to explore the world through a different eye. And a very good friend of mine, a common friend with Diann as well, Lorraine Taylor, is also passionate about creating communities and coaching about it. So we said that it was going to be an excellent idea before she would move permanently to New Zealand to host a small retreat here in Greece, combining the live like a local aspect. So the ladies also stayed at my parents' house and we went to another house. So it was very, very homey, the ambience. And then at the same time, Lorraine also was offering a small curriculum, I would say, like an agenda. And we combined visiting and talking with the locals and finding, their stories. We talked a lot about stories because through them we can see the world through different eyes. It's not only what photo we're going to take or what monument we're going to see, but to whom we're going to talk and what story are we going to hear and then tell ourselves. So this was actually a magnificent trip. We had amazing discussions, amazing conversations. We were sitting in the balcony until late at night and we were talking, okay, besides the munching, but talking a lot. So it was really, really beautiful. An amazing opportunity.
It sounds fantastic. Oh my goodness. I'm wondering, Konstantina, what would you like our audience, our viewers and our listeners to know about Athens that they might not be aware of?
Now that's a difficult question because very recently I read an article that in the US, Greece has a very well-known name. It's not just a name, Greece or the Olympic Games or something, but people really know the country. They aspire, they want to visit, or they have already visited, or they have visited many times. We have also many celebrities coming here. So Greece has received a little bit of the spotlight. What I would say, however, what I'm usually interested myself in Greece and in every place I visit is why this place is important to me. What we see in Greece and all this, sometimes history, because history is so important and so old, so everybody says, Greece, history, and islands. I mean, it's like the dual combination. What does it mean to us today? Why do we go and stand in front of ruins and take photos? And why piles of rock, if I can say them, of course, like that, are still important today? it's not just because we want to pretend that we are educated or that we take a photo that we can post on the social media. Something had happened in the region, not only in Greece, but in the broader region. And Greece, at that time, for a specific, century, made a difference, which still today has an echo. So we are trying to listen to the echo. This is the important thing. We are trying to find ourselves through what we see. And Greece played an important role in who we are today. So that's why it is one of the interesting places to visit. Besides, of course, the fact that we have been blessed with a beautiful country, even though it is small, because, I mean, I'm talking to the US, which is an amazing country by itself. It's huge and it has everything. But here, considering the small size of the country, we also have everything. And that's fun to discover.
Sounds very exciting. Diane, did you go to Athens as well?
Oh, yes. Athens and the history and the theater. I mean, to sit in a
We
theater.
even went to an ancient theater where we had the opportunity to see an ancient Greek performance with translation. So don't think that they were just standing and listening. It was a nice...
And it was night, and oh, you just felt like you stepped back in time. How old is that theater?
The theater is around 2,000 years old. The story is around 2,500 years old. But the message is eternal. So it doesn't matter if we connect with the actual story so much, but we can connect with the heroes. That's why we keep playing them. It's a little bit like Shakespeare. It doesn't
Can you
matter
imagine that?
So many centuries ago, it's still valid.
I love it.
Yes, absolutely. And then, but you mentioned stories, and Dr. JACALYN, that was one of the exciting things about having her plan our trip was the stories, the people we met. We met some people who their family had been making cheese for generations, and then we went into this one home, and they had been making bread in the same exact way, for hundreds of years. And then we had the opportunity to meet this one gentleman who had lived through some severe wars, and to hear his stories and takes on it. You just felt like you were going home, and a piece of Greece will always be a part of you because of the people.
Diane expressed it very, very beautifully. Thank you. It is true that the idea of traveling is for the place that you visit to become part of you. Of course, Greece, I mean, of course, I have a sweet spot for Greece, obviously, and the stories that I share are stories that have been engraved in me. They're not just something that I heard. I am these stories. But most importantly is who we become through the stories that we hear. That's the whole idea behind.
And speaking of stories, I know that you are also a published author. We've got 3 authors here today, which is kind of cool. We're going to take a break, and then Konstantina, I'd love for us to focus in a little bit on your background. I think that would be terrific to learn more about you. All right, we're going to take a look at a couple of clips, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Picture this, a life where you can leave your pain, a life where you can start again somehow. Picture this, a vision that can change a prayer, happy heart that's always there in the now. So don't be afraid of fear, even though as long as we're still here, we can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. We're heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise. Picture this, losing everything you got, never having had a lot, but holding on and on and on. Don't be afraid to dream, 'cause we are so much closer than it seems. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Yeah. We can be anything larger than life, rise up from the ground. We can fall down over 10,000 times, then turn it all right back around. We never imagine how good life can be, but inside you and me we can see past these ghosts in the mirror. Heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise, heroes in disguise. Oh.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads, and also welcome back to everyone listening on Business Talk Radio. I want to thank our sponsors. I want to thank ILO. I want to thank Tony Moore and the keyboards. I want to thank Licorice Dragon Records, and also Ian Pelham Turner and Helena Shard for the clip on the Royal Artillery at Holcomb Beach. You are watching Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure, and we've got this incredible woman over here, DIANN, BOEHM, and also our wonderful guest, Konstantina. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's great.
So in the first part of our show with Konstantina, we were talking a little bit about Greece, and that's where she is now in Athens, and what is so special about Athens. And now I'd like to take some time to get to know you better, Konstantina, and all of the value that you're bringing to this world. So I'm going to spotlight you, and if you can share with our audience a little bit about your background and how you help people.
Thank you. I started, actually, I come with a 20-year corporate experience. It was not always, traveling initially was just a hobby, like it is for most people who finally end up making it a lifestyle. When I was 40, I decided to go on a transformation, a personal transformation. I took a sabbatical. I started traveling more. I hiked more. I wrote my first book. I have been writing ever since, but I have not really gone into the book again yet. So DIANN is much more prolific than me on this front. And I decided to change the way that I live. Going through the change and understanding the things that keep us back and the things that can push us forward was an enlightening experience. It was something that set me free, something that I'm keen to share. And sometimes when we talk about stories, it's not just, a tale. It's about something that can set us free. Because I think most of us, especially after a certain age, when we have ticked the social boxes, when we have done everything that we're supposed to do, and then we have so much time ahead of us and so much experience already accumulated and so much more to give and so much more to create, and we don't know exactly where to go. This is the time that very frequently people start asking questions. Who am I? Who do I want to be? What is my purpose here? And such things. Questions that are not easy to answer, and their answers are only within. I have found myself that while traveling and writing, for me, writing is like a meditation to me. I manage to clarify my thoughts when I put them on paper. That's why I write so much. And by traveling, I realized that it's also like a walking meditation. It helps me clear, shed off layers that I have so that I finally manage to see through different eyes. I have more empathy. I am more peaceful because I understand where the other people are coming from, and I feel unity. This quest for unity, for peace, and for meanings is the reason behind why I do everything that I do. So this is the change that happened in my life.
Wow, congratulations. That's really inspirational. You know, DIANN and I have talked about this before, but this is such an amazing time for people to go on whatever journey they were meant to go on. And you were talking about shedding layers, letting go of that fear, clinging on to something that doesn't work for you. So, Konstantina, where did you find this strength and the courage to actually move forward, take a sabbatical, and just find your life's passion?
Physically, this happened because on a hike to Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro, which is the tallest peak in Africa. I'm a very average hiker, so I'm not pretending to be something more than I am. And I took this challenge quite with a light heart. Ignorance is a bliss. This was the situation. But Kilimanjaro is a volcanic island, also a mountain, and it seems it has an energy that has changed the lives of many people. I'm not the only one. There are several people who went there, reached the peak or did not reach the peak. The peak itself is not the most important thing. And coming back, they made the choice for their life. Myself, when I reached up, I felt something is wrong. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I need to change it. And really, without thinking too much, even when you ask the question, where did you find the strength? I don't know, because it seems that I was so ripe, so ready, that I just made the decision. I quit. I left the company in a year because I was a partner too, but still the decision was done in a couple of weeks. I sold my shares. I refused to go back. I refused to take a year off and return, but I said I'm leaving entirely. I need to change my life, and returning to something old will not work after this 1 year. And I was correct in that. You cannot go back because you are changed. The other people expect the old you in work, and it would create more frustration while I left with positive memories and good friends. So I always say the story is on Kilimanjaro, but I really think it was just the right time.
I love how you shared that you cannot go back, and you really can't because you evolve and you change. I left my corporate job during the pandemic and retired from that, and I got this amazing opportunity and started doing this. So, question I have for you and for our audience: how does one let go of that stability of the income, that guaranteed income that you're used to, or maybe the benefits, to actually go off and do something like this?
Yeah. That's also a little bit, I would say that I consider myself privileged. I don't have children, which means that I don't have schooling. I don't have these expenses that come with it or responsibility. On the other hand, I'm also not married, so it doesn't mean that someone is supporting my expenses. I felt, however, yes, it is true that if you start putting the numbers down, you feel that this might not be the right decision. But there are 2 points. One, that one has to have some faith, some trust. I always remember of Indiana Jones in the third movie, where you have to go on a path that you cannot see, and the moment that you make the step, the path becomes visible. So the path becomes visible when you take the courage to step on it. If you look from afar, you don't see the steps, and it feels more difficult. So many things happened during these years that I had not planned, but they are exciting. They generate revenue, and they are very creative. So I have not been left alone. If one wants to believe in the universe or in, energetic support or this. The second is that despite all the numbers and everything, I am privileged. I am educated. I am free. I am healthy. I live in a society that allows me to explore things. So if I don't try, then who? Someone has to try. So I believe that I am on the privileged side that would allow me to explore even without stability.
That is fantastic. I really applaud you for that. And I can relate to what you're saying. I'm also single and I don't have any children. So I said to myself, let's do this. And I think you'll probably agree with this. It's like once you expand your world and you have this curiosity where you try new things, it's almost like, how was I ever doing that? how was I over there for so long?
Exactly. When you step on the path, suddenly you see something entirely different, and you say, "But how did I live before?" Even now, of course I keep on working several hours because there are so many things to do. But there are moments that I take a breath and I say, "But how did I do it before? How was I living like that?" I don't say that it is bad. I say that it is rewarding to have the courage to explore new things. I don't say that people should do what I did or what other people are doing, but to feel that there is no choice, there is only one choice, and that's it. It is sad, because otherwise, why did we spend all this time to get educated? If I am to live like a worker, well, then why? What is the difference? Should have a difference. I should be able to do things that other people cannot. So this was the reasoning behind. But I didn't overthink it. All these thoughts came later. At that moment, it was just crystal clear that I have to make the change.
Well, congratulations again. Diane, would you like to comment?
Wonderful. Well, I'm so glad you made the change. I applaud both of y'all. I remember actually stepping out and saying, okay, I'm going to leave the classroom and I am going to go full force into training educators. So you say, oh, that's the same, but it's not, because you don't have that steady income. You're hoping people are going to hire you based on the knowledge that you wish to share. And you also lose that family within the camaraderie. But once I passed to, I said the day that I knew everybody was and they're doing their bulletin boards and all their meetings, I was just like, oh my goodness, to be doing that. And then about 2 weeks later, I was meeting with some friends and I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I get to go exercise at 8 in the morning. and I was in charge of my own schedule. And so that freedom was so amazing that I couldn't bring myself to ever go back into the classroom and be tied down, because Konstantin made a really good point. You know, you study really hard and you want to explore the world and grow as a human being. And I think that's what both of y'all have done. And Dr. JACALYN, thanks to you and all your shows that you do, you are helping all of us expand and grow as human beings. And we're connected to the world. We're in Greece. Hello.
It's amazing.
Now, it's true that I have seen also all the shows that are being hosted in this excellent channel, and everything focuses on that. It seems that we are living at a time that many people are exploring how to reinvent themselves. The way that it is done changes from people to people, or changes from time to time within the same life of the life of the same person. But the process of trying to find new paths, of trying to reinvent ourselves, of trying to define and redefine who we are, it's essential to our being. And this is what we have tried, we have fought for hundreds of years to achieve, this freedom. And of course, with freedom comes responsibility. You cannot have freedom and nothing to, and then all the answers to be given to you. The difficulty is that we have to find the answers. And because it is on us, we have the responsibility. And this is what creates. It's not the money, it's nothing of all these things. It's that we have the responsibility for who we are. And that's not easy. We want it, but it's a gift, a heavy gift.
Yes, and I think you bring up great points, and we have to show our gratitude and give back. You know, we saw that clip about the Earthshot Prize and about this world. We need to care for ourselves, right? Become self-aware, and then also give back to each other and to the planet. That's how I feel.
Exactly. But we can give to the others and, of course, to the planet, because this is part of our surrounding, only when we have given to ourselves.
Yes.
We need to give to ourselves. If we don't, we get depleted. So what can you give if you don't have? So that's why it's important what we do.
Yes, I completely agree with you. Konstantin, as we come to the end of the show, and Diane's battery, I think, just went dead. What's next? What's next for you?
Right now, because of the pandemic, the traveling plans were put, like everyone else, a bit on pause. But of course, as we say, one door closes, another opens. The reason that I'm leaving now for Lebanon, I collaborate with an NGO on humanitarian work with the UN, with WFP, the World Food Programme. At the same time, I do continue to host small trips in Greece and in select countries that are meaningful to me. But they're small groups and not only boutique, they come with a meaning. It's not just to relax, it's to explore something. Of course, I keep on writing. Writing is an essential part of who I am. And I am exploring additional entrepreneurial opportunities. I'm already working as a consultant with companies here in Greece. So it's a diverse portfolio now how can I say, it doesn't fill the gap, it fills the puzzle. The puzzle has many facets, and it creates a whole picture. But the essence of me, the meanings I find while I trot around the world, either on foot or on road trips or something, I talk to people and I realize how small and how very often stubborn I am in the things that I have learned, and how much more flexible I need to become to embrace and to feel true love for those things and people that surround me.
I appreciate your transparency and authenticity in that share. That was really wonderful. I'm wondering if you could just tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing in Lebanon. That sounds fascinating.
It is fascinating, but of course it is a rather sad occasion that one has to do these things. Lebanon is living one of the worst economic crises for the past 150 years, not in the country, in the world. A combination of different events, including the pandemic, including the explosion in the port, and all these things have, the economy has collapsed. The people who were paid in local currency are practically, even if in the local currency they were making the equivalent of, let's say, $4,000 or something, which is a decent amount, now they might be making $100 or $200. So practically there is poverty and there is hunger. Hunger so much that more and more donors, international donors, collect funds in order to give food to the people. So this is the programs that I'm working on right now. The specific one that I'm leaving tomorrow to start implementing is, we just won it. It is to provide snacks to children in North Lebanon, one of the poorest areas of the country, throughout the school year, so that not only they have something to eat, which is nutrition, which is good for their nutrition, and it's not sweets, or it's not something that really creates health problems in the future, but most importantly, to retain the children in school, so that the families, when they're very poor and they might take the boys to work and then the girls to get married, we want to give them incentive for them to remain at school, so that tomorrow the collapse of today does not have such a long spillover that will destroy the whole structure of society. This is the effort of the program, the long term, and not just the food of today. So the situation is painful, but we hope that with the work that is being done, we offer a small pebble to take away some of the pain of the people and some of the distress. I mean, we have families that go for days go to sleep without having food to give to the children. So children sleeping 2 days in a row without having food at night, or having something very minor. So these are really painful stories. It's not a happy occasion.
Well, thank you so much for what you're doing, for taking these steps and for helping others. I think that is really tremendous. How long will you be there?
Now I have to be only for 10 days, because I have to return then to Greece for something else, and then I will be going, because the project runs until the end of the school year, which is end of June. Of course, there is a local team. I'm not the only one, but I have been collaborating for a year now. We have already run 2 programs, so this is our 3rd one, and we are developing, because even the development of the NGO for this is an adventure, I would say. It started from small, it's growing. We have to learn processes, we have to improve, we have to educate people, we have to hire people. So it's also the way to deliver. It doesn't mean that it exists and we can deliver, it means that we create it. So there is a lot of creativity in the process. Even though the source of this comes from an occasion which is not very pleasant.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we wish you the best, wish you a safe and rewarding trip. And again, thank you for your humanitarian efforts. And also thank you for being here today and talking about Greece and sharing a little bit of your background with us. I'm going to spotlight you, Konstantina, and if you would share with our viewers and our listeners, what is the best way to contact you, and who would you like to contact you?
The easiest way to remain in contact with me is through my site. I share daily musings, I call them, thoughts every day. And then, of course, I have bigger articles inspired from my travels. I'm interested to create communities and conversations with people who, like me, are in search of meanings and peace. This is the essence. How they try to do it, it doesn't matter whether they travel or they don't travel. This is irrelevant. The like-minded is in the search, in the quest.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Diane, anything you'd like to say to your friend before we go?
You always amaze me at your travels and how you bring in helping others and creating new stories. And I really urge our listeners to look you up. And just reading your stories, as you know, I follow you and your stories, and I'm just every single time I grow because you're such an excellent writer, and I can visualize everything because you describe everything so well and in such detail. And of course, Lebanon, I absolutely love. And I actually have spiritual growth there myself. So yay for going back to Lebanon. It's a beautiful place.
It is also blessed. As we say for Greece too, the place is blessed, but
blessed.
Then the people arrived. So no more job for the Mediterranean.
Well, Konstantina, thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to having you back and maybe sharing a little bit about your experiences.
Of course, I thank you very much for your time and your welcoming and the very warm words of Diann. Diann is a very dear friend, and I actually have missed her. Sometimes the time difference does create a problem, so it's a pleasure even just to see her on screen. And thank you very much for hosting me in the show.
Absolutely. And let's give thanks for the internet, right? For the fact that we have technology that we're able to be connected. It might not always be perfect, but we are grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. Diann, of course, she was fantastic, and it doesn't surprise me because your circle of friends that you are surrounded with are really so focused on giving back and helping others and providing wonderful information. I mean, we just got some great overview about Greece, which I wasn't aware of, because I haven't been there and I've always wanted to go. So thank you again.
Oh, you're quite welcome. And, it was such a small snippet because I truly hope one day you can just go be with her and travel and hike. You two are very like-minded in so many ways.
I felt that. Come home. I know. I felt that. Well, it's, as I mentioned to you, I am traveling and I was supposed to be back home, but I wasn't feeling well. So anyway, my sister and brother-in-law went and bought all this equipment so that we could broadcast right from here, which is fantastic. So we can pack it up and go on the road and broadcast from almost anywhere. I just need to get headphones and a mic so that the sound quality is perfect like I have back at home. So, but it's all good. So Diann, I'm going to spotlight you. I know that you have to run also, but please, if you would share how we can get your book, who you'd like to reach out to you, and what's the best way.
Sure. Hello, everyone. And I want to thank you for being avid listeners. And to those who are listening for the first time, I hope you will continue listening. Dr. JACALYN and I really love this show, and we just really feel like we are helping you with fashion, fitness, travel, and leisure. And the way you can reach me is through my website, DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. For those who can't see it streaming, it's DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. And I write children's books about peace and love and loving yourself, being kind to others. And my first young adult book, Striving to Be Everything You're Meant to Be, through the book, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And I hope everyone has a very blessed day. Thank you, Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you, Diann. I wish you continued success. You deserve it and you've earned it. You've worked for it and enjoy it, embrace it.
Thank you, I will. It's truly amazing. 6 years later, it took to write that book, and now I'm celebrating it.
That's fantastic. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Be safe.
Okay, you take care. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. And as I mentioned, I am on the road, so the sound quality is not exactly perfect because I don't have the rest of my equipment, but it's still good to be able to be here with you. We'll be back in our main studio next week. Today, we've got 2 more shows coming up, presenting Pet Psychic Amina and also Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. If you are a regular fan of our shows, you may realize we don't have as many shows as before, and that's because we purposefully are doing that. We are taking a break from some of our shows as we are engineering the hard launch of USA Global TV, which is January 10th next year. And you will see all kinds of incredible new programming, new formatting. Also, Talking Heads is going to have a big role in our programming. So if you are an expert in your field, if people look to you as an expert, we'd like to hear from you and see if this would be a good fit for you to join our platform, Talking Heads. What is Talking Heads? Talking Heads is a place, again, for mastery, people at the mastery level that you are recognized for your skills. And you come on and present a short lesson to help make us better personally and professionally. And if you've been with us through the beginning, we had a Better You, and then Talking Heads, it just keeps getting better and better and better. So you'll see a lot more coming. And again, if you would like to be interviewed in terms of being on our team, our elite team of mastery experts on Talking Heads, please do reach out to me. And I am looking for my banner. I can never seem to find my own banner. Okay, there it is. You can reach out to me, JACALYN at drjacalyn.com, and my team and I will reach out to you to schedule an interview. Okay, that's all I have for right now. We're going to take a look at a couple of clips, starting with Diane's and then one for myself as the listening mentor with a new course that we have. We actually have 2 new courses, the one I just put up today. So let's take a look, and then we'll see you later on. Thank you again for being here.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, DIANN BOEHM. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd BOEHM tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diane's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diane's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diane's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diane's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBOEHM.com. Visit DIANNFLOYDBOEHM.com. That's DiannFloydBOEHM.com.